Parliament. So for him to be part of the executive, he will also be sworn in together with his colleagues. We expect it to take perhaps an hour or two, given it will depend really on the nature of the proceedings and the events. This event ordinarily, Nompu, is a very jovial event. I would say perhaps it's the last honeymoon for those appointed, because this event, there is laughter, there is happiness. But bear in mind that as soon as they walk out of this room, so South Africans are expecting a lot from them. There are so many challenges facing this country. I mean, we don't need to really repeat them more, because everyone knows the issue of poverty, the issue of slow economic growth, the issue of protest and service delivery. So those are the issues that they would have to hit the ground running. So they will be here, they will be taking their oath of office. That will be signaling the start of the sixth administration.
Interesting yesterday when the president announced his new cabinet, basically saying that he's going to be signing performance agreements with each and every one of his ministers. Is this something new? Did President Zuma before him do something similar?
Well, it's not something new, Nompu. Remember, in the previous administration of former President Jacob Zuma, the similar agreements were there, where the president entered into some kind of contracts with the ministers. So he is able to really assess their performance going forward. So what will be interesting is, will we perhaps this time around be told insofar as what is it that was entered into as a form of agreement with each individual minister? Because the president was basically saying, so those performance agreements would be assessed, and then based on how they are doing, and if they are not performing, in his own words, he said, action will be taken. So we expect the president really to take action where we see that there is not much progress insofar as delivery is concerned. But as you asked earlier, it's actually not a new thing. It started, I think, under former President Jacob Zuma.
Of course, he decided to try and cut the fat, so to speak, by cutting the number of ministries, but he lobbed on a few more deputy ministers in the process. So there's a debate going on as to whether he really did cut the cabinet. But in terms of the people who are no longer going to be in the cabinet, the likes of Jeff Khadebe and so on, he did indicate that he's going to try and continue using their skills and expertise. Where do you think he might be using those people? Will they be in the background in the presidency somewhere? What do you think?
Well, Nombu, in terms of the experience, really, we have seen in the past some people who were ministers, so if then they don't return in the following administration, basically given different roles. One of that role that is really eminent for many people, they get the ambassadorships, so they become ambassadors. So I would think a number of them, perhaps, given their seniority and their experience and what the country wants to achieve, they would be sent perhaps outside to represent the country as ambassadors. But of course, others will also be used as advisors within the administration, because they have vast experience. So those are some of the roles really that they will be given. Even in Parliament, there is still the issue of appointing the chair of committees. So people like them who have experience so would perhaps come in very handy for this administration, Nompo.
All right, Mzwandile, we're going to leave it there with you, and of course we'll join you come 3 o'clock, assuming that everything starts on time. My colleague there, Mzwandile Mbeje. While some have welcomed the newly announced reduced